In this video we are going to show how to perform the CT test using DV Power CVA500 current and voltage transformer analyzer. We are going to perform the test on this CT. As you can see, it has 4 cores, 2 for metering and 2 for protection application. And in this video we are going to test protection core marked with 2S1, 2S3. Connect primary cables. So we use red and black primary cable. So these parts we can connect to P1 and P2 outputs. And on the other side we're going to connect the small crocodile clips. And here the red one goes to P1, black one goes to P2. Okay, the next step is to connect secondary cables. So we are going to use S1 and S2 terminals. So we need 2 red and 2 yellow cables. So we are going to take 2 red cables, connect them here to S1, and 2 yellow cables and connect them to S2 terminals. So the second part of the cables, we need to connect this Kelvin crocodile clip, but since they're both male connectors, we need to use these couplers. So one black and one red coupler, and to connect this crocodile cable, Kelvin crocodile cable. So the same we do for the S2 cables. So we use 2 couplers, and then we connect the second crocodile clamp cable. So now we have Kelvin probes for the, and we are going to connect, so the red one, the red cable, we go to 2S1, and the yellow one here to 2S3. Then we need to connect this yellow and green grounding measurement cable, which is necessary for insulation resistance tests. So we're going to take one end and connect to the grounding measurement terminal. On the other end, we need to connect this yellow and red crocodile clamp, and this one needs to be connected to the grounding terminal on the CT secondary side. And the last one we need to connect is the burden cables. So we're going to use 2 burden cables. We need to connect them to the burden outputs. One. Second one. And we are going to connect them to our burden. In this video, for the burden, we are going to use this 4.7 ohm resistor. Now we are going to set up the test and perform the test. On the home screen we select a new test. We select a CT test object, appropriate standard. We select the application type of the CT, in our case protection type. Class is 5P, ALF is 20. This is a single tap, and we need to input the nameplate values. So primary current 600 amp, secondary current 1 amp, rated burden and cosine phi are good, and we can input the rated knee point if available. In our case it is 200 volts. We select test type. In this case we will perform all 6 tests. And in the test options we select output parameters. For turns ratio we are going to select test voltage to be half of the rated knee voltage. So we select 100 volts, burden stays 1 amp, insulation resistance we are going to perform with 1000 volts DC, and winding resistance we're going to perform with 1 amp. everything is ready. We can click the confirm and we are ready to start the test. So we can start the test, and first test performed is going to be winding resistance test. When the result is stable, CVA500 will automatically take the result and will automatically switch to the next test, which is demagnetization. This test is necessary to be performed after the winding resistance test and prior to the saturation test. Before the saturation test, CT has to be demagnetized in order to properly record the saturation graph and detect knee point of the CT. Once the demag is completed, the next test is saturation test. And after the saturation, turns ratio test is going to be performed. The next test is burden test. And the last test is insulation resistance test. It will perform 3 separate insulation resistance tests. So first, it will measure the insulation resistance between primary and secondary winding. Test lasts up to 60 seconds. The next insulation resistance test is between primary and ground. And we can see that immediately the maximum measurement range of 20 gigaohms is reached, so there is no need to wait for 60 seconds. We can take this result. And the last is to measure insulation resistance between secondary winding and the grounding of the CT. In this case also we can see that insulation is much higher than 20 gigaohms, which is maximum range of CVA. So we are going to press on button. Now all the tests are completed and we can view them one by one. So we can switch between the tests. And we can also check the results for composite error. and ALF also, so you can see the composite error 0.15, lower than 5% rated, and the ALF measured by direct and indirect method is higher than the rated ALF, so the automatic assessment indicates pass. We can also check the ratio error, which is, let's say, calculated for 8 different primary currents and 4 different burdens. Rated burden, half of the rated burden, quarter of the rated burden, and 1 volt amp. We can also check the results for graphically, and we can see that for all 4 burdens at 100% of the rated current, the curve is within prescribed limits by the standard, which is plus minus 1% for this accuracy class. The same we can do for phase error. We can also check, and we see that also the phase error is within prescribed limits. That's why we have automatic pass assessment. At the end we can save the result. Results are successfully saved in the memory. If we go to the home screen and the results, we can open that result. We can also analyze those results. That's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.